So, another new topic from Module 2. So, Module 2 is all about having the importance of human characteristics design. So, we'll see one by one how we will learn about the importance here. So, first of all, going further, we have to know what is the perspection basically. So perspection is our awareness and understanding of elements and objects of our environment through the physical sensation of our various senses. So perspection is influenced in part by experience. We classify stimuli based on models stored in our memories, and in this way we achieve understanding. Other perspectual characteristics include proximity, similarity, matching pattern, subsistence. Other perceptual concepts would be closure, unity, continuity, balance, expectance, signals versus noise. So one by one we will see what are all this. As I told, whenever we are understanding a design, a perspection is always important. So here perspection is all about you understand whatever you have in your surrounding with your senses. So keeping the senses in mind, we will see what are the concepts that we have here. So whenever when it comes to the perceptual characteristics, as it was discussed or as I've told, first one we will be discussing here is all about the proximity. So whenever we have a proximity, we see the objects which belong together if they are near each other in a space. For example, we have a table, and on table I have placed certain objects. So it means that the table which I have created here, it is a space, and the objects which is placed on the table is all about the objects which is having the togetherness and they're sharing the same space. So this is all about the proximity. We see objects as it belonging together if they are near each other in a space. Okay. The next one is similarity. When it comes to similarity, we see the objects as it is belonging together if they share a common visual property. So here when it comes to similarity, we should always remember the word that is common visual property. So what are those visual properties are the color, size, shape, brightness, or any orientation. So when it comes to orientation, it could be the vertical or horizontal orientation. So these similarities you should have. Next is all about the matching patterns. So whenever we have matching pattern, we respond to we respond to similar to the same shape in different size. So here it means that suppose the shape could be of triangle or square, but still it may vary in different sizes. So that is all about the matching pattern. Next is we can see an object as having some perfect or simple shape, because perfection or simplicity is always easy to remember. So it means that we should always keep our design very minimal and easy so that it would be very catchy for all the users. Next is other perceptual concepts or characteristics would be closure and unity. So when it comes to closure, our perception is synthetic. It establishes meaningful wholes. If something does not close itself, we see it closed anyway. Next, when it comes to unity, objects that form closed shapes are perceived as a group. It means that unity is all about, suppose we have a space, and in that space we see all the objects which is gathered together. So here, so objects that forms closed shape which are grouped together is called as unity. Next is all about continuity and balance. Continuity, shortened lines may be automatically extended. Balance is all about we desire stabilization or equilibrium in our viewing environment. Vertical, horizontal, and right angles are most of the visual satisfying and easiest to look at. It means that, see, whenever we are designing something and whenever there is some resolution or a screen, it is always important to balance it. So how do we balance our viewing environment is all about making things easy and making the conceptual view very easy for the user. So usually, as assuming or as being that vertical and horizontal and right angles are most satisfying angles to have a balance view. Next is all about the perceptual expectances. Sometimes we preserve know what is there, but we expect that to be there. Next is signal versus noise. If anything is stimulating, then it is called as signal, and if that stimulation is unwanted or if it is not so important, then it is called as noise. So the next topic is all about memory. When it comes to memory, the memory is all about storing a data and giving the data back whenever it is needed. So we will see how the memory characters should be. So the short term memory limit is generally viewed as 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information. Knowledge, experience and familiarity governs the size and complexity of that chunks that can be recalled. Short memory lasts 15 to 30 seconds. Long term memory is thought to be unlimited. Human active vocabulary will be 2000 to 3000 words, and passive vocabulary will be about 1 lakh. Okay. Next is visual acuity. See, visual acuity is all about, suppose a person is sitting and he's trying to view his screen resolution. So here they're just checking the visual acuity. So assuming that the average viewing distance of a display screen would be 19 inches, the size of that area on the screen of optimal visual acuity is 1.67 inches. The capacity of eye to resolve the details is called as visual acuity. Visual acuity is halved at a distance of 2.5 degrees from the point of eye fixation. So a 5 diameter circle centered around eye fixation character on a display has been recommended as the near area that the character can be. So next is all about how the characters and character line spacing will be. Assuming average character size and character line spacing, the number of characters on the screen falling into visual acuity circle is 88, with 15 characters being contained on the widest line. The next topic is foveal and peripheral vision. Foveal is all about focusing, directing, and peripheral vision is all about sensing anything in the area surrounding where we are looking. So, foveal and peripheral vision have a cooperative and competitive in nature. And next is information processing. When it comes to information processing, we have two types, that is higher level and lower level. So when it comes to higher level, our first exposure is towards the screen, and when it comes to lower level, it is all about we look rather than we see. The visual distinctive in the screen design is very important to process in the lower level. Next is all about the mental mode. When it comes to mental mode, it is simply an internal representation of person's current understanding of something. As a result of experiences and culture, we develop mental modes of things and people will interact with. The key to forming mental mode is design consistency. Next is all about learning. People prefer to be active, to explore and use the trial and error approach. People are very sensitive even to minor changes. So we have to think all that in mind and be consistent in your design, so that the perception of having to learn a lot of information is enough to keep people from using the system. Next is skill. The goal of human performance is to form skillfully. Economy of effort is achieved by establishing a workspace that represent optimum efficiency. Screen design must permit develop of increasing skillful performance. Low order skills tend to become routine and may drop out the unconscious. Individual differences tailor application to the specific needs of people with varying varying and changing learning or skill level. So when it comes to designing, these are the terms that has to be remembered always.